Despite what we just went over, wouldn't you say this He killed Mikoshiba in cold blood to get vengeance for his bullied son. His kid was about to graduate high school, but instead, he took his own life. So Ihara took it upon himself to punish his son's tormentor.
That's awful.
But now we come back to the issue here. If this footage is authentic, then Ihara-san couldn't have been your assailant. The victim's estimated time of death and Ihara-san's time of arrival in Tokyo simply don't allow for it. It's just not possible for someone to make that commute. But there's the flip side. If Ihara-san was in fact your assailant, it would mean this murder footage is a fabrication.
I don't know what you expect me to say after all this.
Right? Now you know how we're feeling. That's why we came to see if you had any leads for us.
So that's what this is about.
After hearing your story, I have no doubt you endured a lot that day. Which would obviously mean that murder video was faked.
Then, who shared that video? And why?
Wish I knew. Based on the quality, something this convincing would need quite a budget. Whether it's CG on top of real murder footage, or just a rock-solid AI creation, no way it was cheap. So why go through all this effort to fake a murder? Who would benefit from it? But I have to say, I feel much closer to piecing this puzzle together with your help today. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, and rest assured, this will be the last time you see us. Our apologies for the unexpected visit, and for dredging up unpleasant memories.
It's fine. So long as this is really the end of it all.
I'd like to report Mamiya-san's account to the rest of the team. Can I count on you to be there?
Sure. Let me give Kaito-san a heads up.
All right, then I'll see you there.
Yo, it's me.
Hey, I just got back to Kamurocho. Everything good? Any news?
All good here, man. What's with you? You worried Arcade got to me or something?
I mean, they did run their mouths about stabbing us in the back. But if you're good, I'm good. Anyway, I'm heading to Genda so Sari-san and I can go over what we learned from Mamiya.
You're the boss. As for me, I'm calling it a day.
You do that.
Are we ready, Yagami-san? Let's start with our visit to Mamiya-san, if that sounds reasonable to you.
Yeah, let's start there.
So, the victim's story is completely in line with her court testimony, huh?
That's correct. There wasn't anything new to pick up.
Unfortunately.
In which case, should we look into the murder video instead? Like, figure out how they made it?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Whether that tape's fake or real, someone had to put it online, right? Do we have any theories on who that might be?
Well, the footage showed enough of the surroundings to make the crime scene clear. As somebody who's been there, I can confirm that the blood splotches match what you see in the footage. Which means... Ihara posted the video himself.
Ihara's been under police or court surveillance for the past 2 months straight.
Maybe he set it up as a delayed upload, where the video automatically got posted at a specific date and time.
Did he really think that far ahead? Although, I guess it sounds more reasonable if he had acted alone.
That's true. Let's come up with a simpler theory. The murderer's accomplices have to be the ones who posted it for him.
Yeah, I can't see it any other way.
I also agree with Yagami-san.
But in that case, what would their motive be?
Maybe they wanted to make a mockery of the police, or even the whole system.
Huh?
We know Ihara got himself convicted for groping, so he'd have an alibi for Mikoshiba's killing. But then, his conspirators turned it around by uploading the murder video online. Almost as if to say, look how he got away with it.
I see. Yeah, that does make it sound like he's taunting them.
That's well and good, but I'd like to shift gears. Let's talk about the actual fabrication of the video. How does one go about that?
Well, for example, the true culprit would be taped murdering Mikoshiba. Then Ihara's face would be copied and blended onto the killers. That's how they'd approach it in a Hollywood movie.
But then, wouldn't you be able to see traces of it being faked?
Tsukumo-san reported that he's found nothing of the sort in his analysis.
We've been down this road before. If we take the stance that the footage is fabricated, we have absolutely nothing to work with.
Then let's tackle this from the stance that the video's actually real. If that's the case, there has to be a flaw in the groping issue. I think we've collected enough evidence to find it too.
Before meeting with Yui Mamiya, didn't you mention the possibility of Ihara using a stand-in? Perhaps the real Ihara murdered Mikoshiba in Ijincho, then swapped places with the imposter so he could be detained.
But we couldn't find an opportunity for the swap to happen, remember? From the moment he set foot on the Ikebukuro platform, Ihara was constantly on camera.
But wait, that's not entirely accurate, is it?
Huh?
Remember how we mocked up a diagram of the Shinjuku station platform?
Yeah. Oh, wait! That's it! You could be onto something. There's a point where Ihara wasn't on camera at all.
What is this point you speak of?
Let's all go over the diagram so that everything will be clear. Here's what I want you to see. Suspicious. What the? It's very brief, but there's a moment where Ihara and Mamiya-san can't be seen by the security cameras. The dotted lines on the arrow represent the camera's blind spot.
It does appear so. So you're saying this is where the groper, the fake Ihara, traded places with the real one?
Can't say it's impossible, right?
Right. Except if that actually happened, Mamiya-san would have been right behind them at the time. Could the two really swap places without her noticing?
In a crowd like that, I think it's feasible.
If that really was Ihara's plan, then I'd say he was being careless.
Careless? How?
Well, on the day of the incident, the station was packed for morning rush hour. That means there was no solid guarantee the assailant could make the switch. He could have been nailed by any random passerby before reaching the blind spot.
Good point. Not only that, if Mamiya-san had called for help while the train was still moving, then the first Ihara would have been caught before even reaching the platform.
Oh, I mean, yeah! Called it.
Think about it, Yagami-san. Why would Ihara's accomplices meticulously plan out every last detail of this alibi, only to leave such a crucial component to chance, as Hoshino-kun pointed out?
Oh, just doing my job.
True. Good work, Hoshino-kun. In fact, I think that may back up my own take on it.
Yeah?
What if everything, including the appearance of leaving the plan to chance, was part of the plan?
Can you expound on that?
I'm saying I agree that such an airtight alibi wouldn't have allowed for contingencies. And that takes the question to another level. Just how far did they line up the pieces in advance to make the swap work?
Are you saying there's more to it than we discussed? What did we miss?
I know this won't go over well, but what if Mamiya was colluding with Ahara all along?
Huh?
Bear with me. Let's say Mamiya was in on this and knew about the imposter in advance. If that's the case, the swap could happen right in front of her and no one but the three of them would know.
You're saying the victim of a groping conspired with her assailant beforehand? That's ridiculous.
Let me just say, I'm only trying to work out how a swap like that would be guaranteed to work. Now, if Ahara and his stand-in both know...
Investigative committee and the court all agreed there wasn't enough evidence to convict anyone. No surprise for me that the guy held a grudge against the system for so long.
Hold on. Before we all decide on this.
What's up?
The obvious question to me is why would Mamiya be party to such a crime? She appears more than financially stable, and she's even raising a child. So why would she do something so enormously risky as helping establish a murder alibi?
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far yet. But maybe she was promised something that far exceeds the risk. Or maybe Ahara has some kind of dirt on her even?
Enough to make her help with a murder? What sort of secret would be big enough to force someone into that corner?
What info do we have on Mamiya anyway? Maybe we can spot a connection to Ahara through her profile.
I'll pull her information. Just a second.
Oh, I just thought of something else those two would have guaranteed by working together.
What's that?
If Ahara wanted to use this crime as a murder alibi, he needed it to blow up into the public eye. But if he had chosen a victim who stayed silent, then nothing would have come of it. A solid plan would need to eliminate that variable, which means Mamiya being an accomplice was crucial to Ahara's success.
That's true.
Looks like Ahara pulled one over on the prosecution then. Had his accomplices right where he wanted them, even his victim. Once we learn how he's connected to Mamiya, we can root out the rest of his team.
Let's see. According to her file, her maiden name is Yui Suzuki. 30 years old, so that's consistent. Originally from Ota, Tokyo. Attended a private high school called Kurakawa Academy. Later graduated from Toto University.
Huh.
Met her husband on the job, apparently. Her husband, Taichi Mamiya, is an industrial designer at Techno Zeta Inc. 6 years ago, she gave birth to their only son, Sota-kun, who's now in first grade.
Hold on. You said she went to Kurakawa Academy? I heard that name in Ijincho. If I recall correctly... When I went to scope out the murder scene, there were these three guys watching the detectives and me. They told us they were just checking things out, but they mentioned they're Kurakawa grads too.
You have any ID on you?
Will my license work?
Kake-san, age 30.
Akaike-san, age 30. Mommy is 30 as well.
What's that got to do with anything? Aren't we trying to find a connection between Mamiya and Ahara?
I found the Kurakawa Academy website. Looks like they're pretty prestigious. It's in Tokyo, specifically in Ota. Pretty close to where Mamiya lived. Oh,
What?
the girls there get such cute uniforms.
You little... You want to start all over from the bar exam?
Wait, I've seen that uniform before too, actually.
Where?
On an old picture of a teacher at Seiryo High, Sawa-sensei. Ahara's son had confided in her. Is she actually a Kurakawa grad too? I don't know Sawa-sensei's exact age, but she could well be 30. Maybe all of them were even classmates.
Could this mean they're actually linked? The victim and her up-to-now unrelated assailant?
It's a tenuous link at best. Could fall apart any time. But no true detective alive would pass it up. Why is this always? I'm not even warmed up. Really, guys? Wait a minute. Hmm?
First stop, it's gotta be Chinatown. Can't face Tsukumo on an empty stomach.
Never a dull day for you, huh, Kaito-san?
It's the selection, man. I've already worked out the math. I figure if I hit 4 or 5 places a day...
What? What's up?
Check that out. It's Akutsu.
Kamurocho thugs are looking pretty out of place here.
Yo! Akutsu! What are you fools doing in town? Hey! Don't ignore me! It's Kaito!
No way. Excuse me. Huh?
Oh, what is it, Yagami-san?
Sensei, do you have a minute?
I saw the video of Mikoshiba-kun.
So you did. That video, right?
I thought Ehara-san was convicted for a sex offense. How could he be in that video killing Mikoshiba-kun? But then that video looked so real.
Most likely it is. As you unfortunately had to witness, Ehara-san committed murder with his own 2 hands. Which means as far as the groping that day goes, there's some deception at work.
Deception?
Are you familiar with Ehara-san's victim in the case? Her name is Yui Mamiya.
I don't think I recognized her, no.
13 years ago, she attended Kurakawa Academy. Her maiden name is Yui Suzuki.
Yui Suzuki? Just a minute. I guess you could say we didn't have the same interests.
When was the last time you saw her? Did you have a high school reunion by any chance?
They held a reunion around the time I graduated from college, but I didn't feel like going. That same class bullied a kid into jumping off the roof.
So if that's the case, you haven't seen any of your classmates since you all graduated? Hey, Sari-san? It's Yagami.
Hey, did you manage to talk to Sawa-sensei?
Yeah, turns out she really was in Mamiya's class. And they were both aware of the suicide incident with their classmate.
Good to know. While we're on the topic, Hoshino-kun got his hands on some new info.
Let's hear it.
The bully at Kurokawa High was named Shinya Kawai. He transferred out right after Mitsuru-kun jumped, as if he were running away. Once he came of age, it looks like he worked here in Kamurocho.
Wow, you really can find a lot online.
Yes, and to top it off, Kawai earned a reputation for talking about how he drove a classmate to suicide. Like he's proud of it. Maybe he thought he'd get a laugh in Kamurocho.
Probably would.
Kawai was more or less a Yakuza, though he never swore into it. I just sent you his picture. It was taken 5 years ago.
What? This guy?
You recognize him?
Not too long ago, some RK punks came asking his whereabouts. Said he was a girls' bar manager who went missing.
Yeah, it looks like he did work at a girls' bar. But we don't know which one.
Okay, so the guy's definitely suspicious. What business would RK have with him?
Do you know if they ever found him?
No. But their leader, Soma, said something about Kawai having already been killed. Like he just vanished from Kamurocho a few years ago, and that was it.
Wait, he was killed?
Uh-huh. Kinda gives me deja vu now that I think about it. Here you have Kawai and Mikoshiba, two known school bullies. And they both end up murder victims?
That could be for a number of reasons. It's not rare for people to disappear in Kamurocho. Usually the trouble is money or women. Maybe that was the case for Kawai.
Could be.
Okay. We'll investigate Kawai a bit more on our end. With RK asking around, word on the street will be loud enough to hear.
How was it, Saori-san? What did Yagami-san have to say?
He said he recently ran into some RK members looking for Shinya Kawai.
Did he?
He also said RK later told him Kawai had been killed.
This is getting scarier with every new lead.
Now that you mention it, I have seen people getting stopped and asked about someone all over town. But if those were RK on the hunt for Kawai, could it have something to do with our case as well?
I'm honestly not sure how RK could be involved in all this. I'm going out for a bit, Hoshino-kun. Do me a favor and keep digging up what you can on Kawai.
Wait, what?
Sometimes you have to get out in the field. It can't just be Yagami-san all the time.
You don't mean you're going straight to RK for some answers?
What else would I be doing? I need to know why they were looking for Kawai.
Then I'm coming with. I can't just let you do that alone.
Don't worry. It's still light out, and I plan on staying in the open. Besides, if I'm alone, they'll be more eager to talk.
That may be, but still, I'll just call you about every 10 minutes then. For your safety.
I find that rather unnecessary.
You sure?
Oh, Is that Sari-chan I see? To what do I owe this pleasure?
Nice to see you too.
Oh, hi. Say, aren't you one of Talk's lawyer friends? Does that mean he's on his way too?
It's just me today.
Fine by me. That means you and I get some girl talk time.
Oh, that stings, Mari. And here I thought I had a place in your heart.
Well, no one knows a lady's heart like a bartender. I guess you can stay.
Let's see.
All these bottles got you feeling lost? Care for a few pours from Tox? It'll be our secret. Besides, a man with his tab can't complain.
You're too kind. So I'm actually here to ask you, how can I set up a meeting with RK?
Darn. So this wasn't a pleasure call? Well, I'm glad you're at least enjoying the drink.
True. And looking fancy doing it.
Oh, please, you two are going to embarrass me.
My apologies. I suppose being surrounded by such beauties has a timeless appeal, even at my age.
I'll second that. Masuda here is looking at least a year younger.
Was that supposed to be a compliment?
Of course. If you got any younger, you'd be much too handsome. What's a girl to say?
And I'll second that.
Anyhow, if you're after an RK rendezvous, the good news is those guys are everywhere. But it's not like a civilian can just stroll up and ask, "Hey, are you RK?" and expect
You got that right. And Saori-chan needs to ask them something that's kind of sensitive. Oh, that's certainly going to make things challenging.
Just a bit, yeah.
So I say, why not let the boys do the chasing? Wouldn't be hard for an enchantress like you. But honey, we need to do something about your look. Some nice clothes and a little makeup, and you'd be unstoppable.
Finally, my turn to second something.
I suppose I would need to look approachable.
Talk to her felt like it, Saori-chan. You could put every hostess in Kamurocho to shame. I've gotta admit, I'm curious.
Well, a good hawk hides her talons.
You're saying I should dress like a hostess for this?
Well, I'm sure there are other ways. But if you want a foolproof plan to snag an RK, you've got one.
Oh, if you want, I can get you some looks. And you can choose what you like.
I get the message. And I suppose I'll take you up on that.
Okay, then leave the rest to me.